back to the edge now. Heart beating so loud. Sky's calling my name. Time to play the game. Feet leave the ground. I hope I won't fall down. No, trust.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the BookPreneur. I am Audrey Bell-Kearney, the BookPreneur. So glad to be with you guys today. So today I'm talking about why being an author is not the same as running a business. And I know some people probably will beg to differ, but I could tell you from being not only an author, but also a business owner for over 20 something years. I've been an author since 1998. And I've been I call it a real business owner since 1999. So being an author and running a business is not the same thing. It's two different things. And a lot of times what I find is that most people who are creatives, like I'm a creative, but I'm also a business person. Most people who are creatives really just like to create. So I want to talk about what it means to be a business owner and an author together, the bookpreneur. So that's why I launched the bookpreneur, because I know some people really want to have a book business, and what does that actually mean? And I'll tell you a quick story. So listen, if you're new to the channel, please thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to my first 1,000 subscribers. I've never done this. I've never hit 1,000 ever, and I'm excited about being able to hit my 1,000 subscribers. So do me a favor, because when you hit the like button, it helps me jump up in the algorithm. So I appreciate that. So let me give you a little bit of backstory. So when I first started out, I started out as an author, a self-published author. I was a co-author, and we started out in 1998. We Two of my friends and I, we were part of a mastermind group, and in that mastermind group, we got together every Sunday after church at 2:30, and we would mastermind about business. And one particular Sunday, three of us stayed behind. It was six of us. Three of us stayed behind. We decided to sit back down and think of what we could do so we could make some money. One of us said, and I can't remember which one of us it was, said, let's write a book. And then the other person said, well, what are we going to write the book about? And then the other person said, let's write the book about sex. And we were like, sex? They're like, yeah, because sex sells. So we wrote this book called A Cookbook to Romance. Now, to give you a backstory in the book is really not sexy. Like it's got cute little innuendos in there. But we were like churchgoers, so it was like sex, but it's really not, and it's not in publication anymore. It's old. It was never in a bookstore. We did a lot of in-person book signings and things like that. So even with that, that was what we called a book, right? We were authors, we were all co-authors on a book, but we didn't realize what it looked like to start it as a business. So I remember reaching out to Terry Williams, who at the time was the publicist for Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Eddie Murphy. She was over in New York, and she was their publicist. And I was working at Prudential, and Prudential had this thing called Minority Interchange, where they sent Black people off for a weekend to learn about things that would help us become better, whatever, which was cool. I loved it. I can't even front. I really loved it because I learned a lot. And I was very young, so I learned a lot. Terry Williams was one of the speakers, and I remember meeting her. She had written a book called The Personal Touch, and I remember meeting her and saying to her, we would love for you to be our publicist. And she said, I don't think you guys can afford me. Now, we're talking about 1998, probably early 1999. She said, I don't know if you can afford me. Now, remember what I said. She was a publicist for Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Eddie Murphy at the time, and probably some other people as well. She said, I don't know if you can afford me. We were like, well, how much do you charge? And she said, $4,500 a month. Now, when I think about who her clients were, that was nothing. I'm wondering, did she charge them 4,500? But anyway, we didn't have 4,500 to hire Terry. But that was when I realized this is not just a book we're trying to do. We're trying to build a business. So me, the way I started to think about stuff, we was like, well, let's make some pillows, let's sell this, let's sell it, let's put all these things together. We get a newsletter, all of these things we started to put together. And when we started to do all of that, the whole thing just fell apart. Why? Because some of the women in the group, they didn't realize this was a business, right? We were trying to start a business, and the book wasn't a business, the book was a book. And so we started to look at like all of these ways to turn this into this business, and it just wasn't gelling. Like we just could not come together and make it gel. We had some people leaning to the left, some people leaning to the right. It wasn't gelling. So we wrote that one book together, and from there it went all downhill. Fast forward to 2000 and what year? I think it was 2000 when we had 9/11. I launched my first publishing company called Milestone Publishing. And I launched that company and I started to now I'm thinking I know a little bit about business because I've been in business now for I think at that time I had been in business for 2 years. So I thought I knew everything. So I launched a publishing company. And when I launched that company, still not understanding what I was kind of doing, I thought because I had co-authored one book, I knew what I was doing. I knew how to run a business, and I did not. I launched Milestone Publishing. I launched it in the summer of that year, the year of 9/11. I want to say it was 2000. I launched it in that year. And was it that year? It might have been 2001. Well, anyway, I launched my publishing company and I put out on the internet that I had this publishing company, and all of these manuscripts started to come in the mail, right? And I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do with all of these typed up manuscripts? Well, I'm a publisher because that's what I told people. I'm a publisher. I have a publishing company. It's called Milestone. And all of these people started sending me all of these manuscripts for me to publish. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, pump the pump the brakes. All these manuscripts. And I had a stack of manuscripts in my office piled up that I'm supposed to read and then publish. Why? Because I think I know how to do publishing. I think I know how to run a business. And in reality, all I knew how to do was to get a book printed and sell it at book signings and book fairs. That's all I knew how to do. I had no clue about what it took to run a publishing business. That's why running a business and being an author is not the same thing. It's not. There are parameters that you have to put in place if you want to turn this into a successful business. Now, what are those things? One, you have to first decide, is this a business or is this a passion project? Because if it's just a passion project, you may not want to turn it into a business. You may want to get your books printed, go to the book festivals, go to the book fairs, pop up shops and just sell your books. And if that's what you want to do, you can just be a solopreneur and do that. But if you were like me, I'm thinking I want to have a publishing company because listen, I lived in Jersey at the time, and New York was known for publishing. Like that was like the publishing capital. And I'm like, I want to be a publisher, not knowing that it took all of these things that I'm about to share with you for me to have a real solid business as a publisher. So, one, it took me incorporating my company name, Milestone Publishing. It took me getting a logo. I had an office. I had no idea about the marketing plan. All I knew is that I knew how to use the internet. So I went on the internet and I put in all this information about me being a publisher, and people came a running. They came a running because I'm going to be a publisher. I'm going to get their book. They had these manuscripts, y'all. The manuscript I'm talking about stacked up like this, like papers. I'm like, am I supposed to read those? Like who's going to read those? Well, people thought I was a publisher, so they sent me manuscripts. I did not know that I had to set up the business so that I can make sure that it wasn't just me. I didn't know that I needed a team of people. So then I realized I needed a team of people, right? I didn't have the right team when I put my team together. It was my husband. He was helping me like press out t-shirts because I'm already marketing without books. Press out t-shirts and all these different things and talk about the business and press out tote bags. And then I hired two people to come in and pass out flyers about the services. I had nobody read those manuscripts. I had nobody to edit those manuscripts. All I had was a bunch of manuscripts and this big idea of what I thought the business should be. So what I learned in that instance was that, Audrey, you got to go back and rethink. Now, what's interesting about that, knowing me, I would have kept going in that same vein, but God would not have it. 9/11 happened, right? I had started the business in June, 9/11 happened. And I remember going to my office a day. I had a headache. I stopped by Rite Aid. I don't even know if they still have Rite Aids anymore. I stopped by Rite Aid to get me a Tylenol because my head was hurting so bad. And I left Rite Aid and I went to East Orange, New Jersey. Shout out to East Orange, New Jersey. I went to East Orange. And when I went to East Orange, that's where my office was. It was on the fifth floor. I get to my office and something was going on with like the electricity, the phone service wasn't working. So I'm trying to call out on my office line. It's not working. So then I called my husband. I was like, what's wrong with, he's like, you didn't answer the phone. I'm like, well, what's wrong with the phones? He said, did you see what happened? I'm like, no, I haven't seen anything. I literally had just gotten in the office. He said, there was a terrorist attack. I'm like, what you mean? He said, the world the world center, oh god, the world, what do you call them? The world towers. The towers have been knocked down. Now, I lived in West Orange, New Jersey, and you may have heard me say this story before, but in at the 4th of July, every year around the 4th of July, after the end of the day, there was always fireworks. We would go up to West Orange, Eagle Rock. We would go up to Eagle Rock Lookout to watch the fireworks over in New York because they did this amazing fireworks over in New York every 4th of July. So we would go up to Eagle Rock to watch the fireworks. Well, this particular day, I left my office because I'm afraid because I'm on the fifth floor. My office is at the very end of the hallway. It's only one exit out to get to the exit, and I'm at the end of the exit. I'm like, okay, I got it. So if anything happens, all I could think was, I'm in a high rise office building. I'm gonna be trapped. So I pack up my stuff and I jet for the elevator and I get out of the office. And I was afraid ever since. So I couldn't go back to the office. That was a dark time in history for us in the United States and probably around the world. It was a very dark time. And I remember just not feeling like I could go back into the office because I was so afraid. And so that was in September. When I did get up the courage to go back into the office, I moved all of my stuff out of the office. And when I did that, I stopped being a publisher. Like my company, I lost so much money because I had a full blown office suite that I had furnished, I had hired people, everything. I was so afraid and so distraught and just so depressed about what was going on because you see it every day on the news. It's kind of like where we are right now with everything that's happening. It will drain you mentally. It will mentally drain you. But anyway, God would have it that, I'm not saying that that was the reason why, but I had so much fear till I couldn't see me trying to read a book at that time, not a manuscript. So I spent a lot of time at Barnes and Noble just reading motivational books, and I had to regroup and think about what I wanted my business to be. And so I never started Milestone back up again. Like that was the end of Milestone Publishing, like that short period of time. But I continuously published my books as I went on. So what I decided to do was I decided to become I was a consultant with Rutgers University Small Business Development Center, and people would come in, they wanted to start businesses, and I would coach them like, this is what you need to do, because by that time I did have some experience under my belt. I was an inventor. I invented the dolls, and I talk about the dolls. If you go back and look at one of the other episodes, you will see the dolls that I actually invented. So I was a business person. I knew how to raise money. I knew how to build websites. I knew how to get things manufactured in Hong Kong. I knew how to do marketing. So I had some experience under my belt. So I became a consultant with Rutgers Small Business Development Center. And then I had a friend who was a consultant for King University Development Center, and he didn't want to go into the meetings by himself with women. So whenever there was a woman, he would bring me in. So I was a consultant at King too for that. So I knew a little something about running a business. Now, if you're thinking about writing a book and turning that into a business, you have to make sure that you are realistic about what you want, right? This is not easy. Entrepreneurship is not easy. Can I see myself doing anything else? No. But what I will tell you, after 27 years, it's not easy, right? So you want to think about, is this a book, a passion project? Is it just do I just want to write books and sell a few, and whether I become a millionaire or not, I just want to do the thing that I love? Because you may make a lot of money just doing the thing you love without all of the stress of running a business. Running a business is stressful. It is a stressful situation a lot of times because everything falls on your shoulders as the business owner. Everything. Every decision falls on your shoulder. The only time that does not happen is if you traditionally publish and you have a publishing company that takes a lot of responsibility off of you. However, you will be under deadlines if you have a traditional publisher. As a self-publisher, unless you put yourself under a deadline, you're not under a deadline. Now, me, I'm a business person. So I put myself on deadlines and then I stress myself out, right? So you got to ask yourself, do I want to run a business? Because you may not want to run a business. What does that mean? That means you're going to have to sacrifice some time. You're going to have to sacrifice some things. You're going to have to sacrifice some family, some friends. You're going to have to make some sacrifices if you want to run this as a business, because there will be times where you have to decide, do I want to go hang out with my family and friends, or do I want to go to this book expo? Do I want to go get my nails done, or do I want to put this money into a marketing campaign? There will come a time that you will have to make these hard decisions, right? Do I want to lay around all day and do nothing and watch the housewives or whatever? Or do I want to sit down at this computer and reach out to media people by having me as a guest or writing about what I do? You would have to make those hard choices. But that's what comes with being a business owner. That's what comes with being an entrepreneur. So you're going to have to think about that. There will be times when nobody's going to buy your book. Family, friends, you won't get support. How will you handle that? How will you handle when nobody supports your dream? If you're writing just because you love it and you don't care whether or not they support or not, that's one thing. But if you're thinking about doing this as a business, how do you handle the criticism? People will criticize. Listen, the internet is nothing like it was back then. And I got hate mail in the mail. I'm talking about just crazy stuff. Like someone told me one time, one of my books I wrote, and the book was funny. I wrote it because it was funny, but people were upset with me. Like I got hate letters in the mail. The book was called 69 Ways to Know When You're in an Effed Up Relationship. That was the name of the book. And I was inspired by something that took place one night at 11 o'clock at night. That's what inspired me to write the book. So the book was originally supposed to be 64 ways to know when you're in an effed up relationship, right? That was the original title. But my friend Georgette said, I got 5 more. Can you put my 5 in it too? So I said, sure. So she put her 5 in the book and it was called 69 Ways. I put that book out, and it to me it was funny, but it really made you think when you read. And this not wasn't a big book; it was like one way on each page. Like it was 69. It was about 75 pages, I think. But there was one way on each page. People were livid. They like, you must be in an effed up relationship. Oh, they were so mad at me, and I was like, oh my God, did I touch a nerve? But those are the kind of things that happen, right? So are you ready for people to scrutinize your writing? Are you ready for people to scrutinize the cover of your book? Like I've even the book I just wrote, which is this one. Well, yeah, this one. And this is the author copy. Where's the okay, this is the real copy. Oh, what's that in the cover? So this is my newest book, right? And this is a fiction book. This is my first fiction book. And I've already gotten 2 calls about the genre of the book. They said, Audrey, do you know that this is new age? Right? This is what they said. Did you know it's new age? And I said, yeah. One lady said to me, you know it's not Christian, right? Yeah, I know that too. But people are already people, and these are people, that one person I just don't know, one person I do know and love, but because it's not what they believe in, and it's a fiction book, it's fiction. And I said it's fiction on the back of the book. I just told a story about how I got to write the book. That's what I did say on the back of the book, why I wrote the book. And apparently it's not a book that's going to go over well with Christians. So I had to go back and look up like, what the heck is new age? Because I done had 2 Christian people reach out to me about this book. And I'm thinking, so I said to one person, the person I do like and love, I said, listen, that book is a fiction book. However, the message is about being good and doing good. That's what the message is, right? Whether it's new age or not, whether you believe in whatever or not, the story is about being good and doing good, and it's fiction. However, being good and doing good is about real life. If that is a problem for anybody, about me saying, hey, I want to write content or produce content about being good and doing good, if that's a problem, people might want to check themselves. So I said all that to say, a lot of times you're going to get scrutinized for pretty much everything, right? Somebody's going to scrutinize this because I got the flowers showing in the background. They're going to scrutinize it because I talk too fast. That you have to be willing to be okay with all of that. You have to be willing to say, I'm okay with that because this is my business. For me, this is my business. This is a legacy that I'm building for my daughter and my granddaughter. So I'm going to do what I got to do, right? I'm going to take the bumps and the bruises because I always have. It's been 27 years and I'm still in this game. And I plan on being in this game till they put me in the box. That's what I plan on doing. And for me, it's not about It's not about just writing a book. It's about building a company and a legacy. And you got to ask yourself, and that's a lot of work. My daughter said to me this morning, she said, and she tells me this all the time, you need to have more fun. This is what she says to me. I have a grown daughter and a granddaughter. You need to have more. Your problem is you don't have enough fun. Now, what she does not realize is for me, my work is fun. For her, it's not fun. For me, my work is fun. You need to have more fun, and you need to stop and just take a minute and I could never do all the stuff you do, is what she says to me this morning. And I said to her, okay, maybe I do need to have, you need to start living more. And I get it. She's right about that. But this is who I am, and this is what I'm trying to do. You have to ask yourself, are you willing to give up fun? Are you willing to give up restaurants and wine and all of these things? Now, you don't have to give up everything. But if you are serious about being a business and not just an author, that comes with a lot of responsibilities. That comes with a lot of compromise. It may even come with some sacrifices. And you got to ask yourself, am I ready for that? Am I ready to not be able to spend time with my grandchildren? Am I ready to go and not be able to hang out with my husband because I'm so tired? All I want to do is just lay down and go to sleep. Am I ready for that? Am I ready not being able to take my wife on a date because I'm just so tired? I had to work all day and I had to come home and do. Am I ready for that? Being an author is not the same as running a business. It's just not. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you for spending some time. I hope that this helps you think about what path you want to take. Do you want to be an author, or do you want to be a publishing company? Do you want to be an author, or do you want to be a business owner? Yeah, think about that thing, because that's going to be really important with you moving forward, and how you move forward. Because you may say, Audrey, I just want to write books and have fun. If I sell some, I sell some. If I don't, I don't. I just want to enjoy myself. I want to tell great stories. It's not about me running a business. And that may be all you want to do. And somebody may say, Audrey, I'm with you. I'm trying to build this legacy. I want to tell these amazing stories. See, me, I'm the other person. I'm going to start. I done wrote the book. Now the book is about to be translated into different languages. Then it's going to be turned into a movie. That's me. I already got an Indiegogo campaign set up. That's a me thing, right? That if that's not you and you don't want to do all of that, which is a lot, don't do that. Whatever you do, try to have fun. My daughter said I need to have some fun, which she swear I don't have any. I do have fun. It's just not the type of fun that she likes. So she doesn't think it's fun. So anyway, thank you guys for stopping by. Be sure to, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps me move up in the algorithms, trying to get to my 1,000 subscribers, my first 1,000 subscribers. And I appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel and share it with somebody, especially somebody who's thinking about writing a book or starting a book business and becoming a bookpreneur. Also, be sure to go to the bookpreneur.com and subscribe to the newsletter. I put out a newsletter once a week, sometimes twice a week, depending on what I have to say. So subscribe to the newsletter. It's thebookpreneur.com. Thank you again for listening. I'll be back when I have something else to say. So be sure to check it out. All right. Until next time, my friends. Until next time, make it a great day. Bye, everybody.
Want to unlock the secrets to book publishing success? Tune in to The Bookpreneur with Audrey Bell-Kearney. Welcome to The Bookpreneur. Hosted by Audrey Bell-Kearney, an accomplished author of 7 books and a seasoned entrepreneur with 27 years of experience. This weekly show is your ticket to the innovative world of book publishing. From traditional publishing to ebooks, low-content gems, and even coloring books, Audrey covers it all. Each week, she chats with a diverse range of authors and creators, revealing the secrets to their success and how they turned pages into profits. Whether you're an aspiring author, a seasoned writer, or a book enthusiast, The Bookpreneur offers insights and inspiration to help you monetize your literary passion. Audrey is also the CEO of Noise Media Network, known for the Good Morning Georgia and Good Morning Gwinnett podcasts. Join us on The Bookpreneur and discover how you can thrive in the ever-evolving literary economy. Subscribe now, and let's turn your love for books into a profitable adventure.